Okay, so huge trades, huge moves coming out of the NFL this week. The first one being that the 49ers are moving up in the draft to number 3 with the Dolphins. They trade in return the 12th overall pick, a first rounder in 2022, a third rounder in 2022, and a first rounder in 2023. So quite the bag for the Dolphins. And now you have to assume that the 49ers are moving up to get a quarterback.
I don't think a team makes a trade that big not to do that. It'd be pretty amazing if it was just for Penei Sewell or a wide receiver or something.
Kyle Pitts at number 3.
I think the writing's on the wall. It's got to be a QB. But the question is,
what do they do with Jimmy G?
Well, I was going to say the question is, who's the QB?
Yeah, that too. Absolutely. Before we dive into what they're going to do with the third overall, another trade happens where the Miami Dolphins then ship number 12 and I think that's a third rounder, the 123rd overall pick, and a first rounder in 2022 to the Eagles. And in return, Miami gets the 6th overall pick and the 156th overall pick.
Miami's wheeling and dealing.
Wheeling and dealing. They're set up pretty well for the next couple of years. And they move back up into the 6th position, possibly to get Penei Sewell. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. I'm probably butchering the living crap out of that.
It's pretty close based on what I've
heard. Or, a huge target for Tua.
Well, first off, let me just say with the Dolphins, I love the move to go back to 6. I know that they had to give up an additional first-round pick. But the thing is, if you look at all the assets that they have in the next couple of years, it's basically like chump change to them.
Yeah.
They have so many first rounders and second rounders the next 3 drafts. It's insane. So the reason
this wasn't even in their first rounder. This was Houston's.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason I like it is because it doesn't really – it still puts them in that really interesting spot in the first round where there are still going to be QBs on the board. And that's like the gold rush in this draft. I feel like everyone's kind of going for these like 4 to 5 quarterbacks.
Well, now it's up in the air. A lot of people are thinking now the first 4 picks are going to be quarterbacks.
Well, let's just say that there's 5 QBs, top QBs in this draft. Okay,
there are.
So
Mac Jones is. People are saying Mac Jones is also going to go in the top 10.
Miami's got that last pick where it's like one of those guys is probably still going to be there, if not 2. And they also could keep playing it like Tua's our guy. Wink, wink, but maybe there's someone they would consider at 6'2". So they're doing a really good job of playing the game, as they say. They're right in the thick of those QB picks. There's going to be so many hungry teams probably giving them calls. Like I think they're going to get more in exchange for this pick than they had to give up if they trade back.
You think? I don't think they will.
Could be. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting spot to be in for them. I really like it.
Yeah, it is super interesting. What they end up doing with 6, I can't see them trading that again, but
you don't think
anything's possible.
Why are they trading 2? They're ultimately spending 2 first-round picks then on Penei Sewell. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. It makes more sense to me to have that pick that they can dangle and then see what they can get for it. And if they really can't get anything for it, then they take Penei Sewell. It makes more sense for them to make that high risk, high reward deal right in the top 10 picks.
Well, they got a great bag for the 3rd overall, which again wasn't even their pick to begin with. It was Houston's.
Right.
I had to correct myself on that, which came from a previous trade for anybody that might not remember that. But I have to imagine that the reason they did that was because they got a great amount in return for that 3rd overall pick, but then didn't have to give up as much to jump back up into 6th, where they now have, where at 12, you probably don't have the top wide receiver in the class, maybe like the top 2 wide receivers in the class, because really everybody's looking at Kyle Pitts as a wide receiver. Nobody's really looking at him at tight end.
They could use him either way.
Yeah, exactly. Or the first overall offensive tackle, which is fantastic for them because, I mean, if you can get, a very solid left tackle for Tua, actually protect him, then you're golden. But they're not going to get
Tunsil
that.
and Penei Sewell are two anchors that you can build that offensive line.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
If before we jump into San Fran here, just because that's the more saucy aspect of this trade,
Mm-hmm.
who do you think with that number 6 pick, if they make the pick, who is Miami taking?
Jamar Chase.
I think so too.
Is my idea. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you really want to see what Tua's got, you have to give him something. And Devontae Parker is good, but very injury prone and inconsistent. So you need to give him more weapons, and I think that would be a slam dunk if they get him. Or Najee Harris, the running back from Alabama, could be good too. Is Alabama, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody's picking him to go in the top 10.
Are you kidding me? The dude's an unbelievable
Yeah.
player.
I don't even see. I feel like I haven't seen him in any mock drafts going in the first round even.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, but moving on to San Fran.
Yeah.
So they clearly moved up to 3 to get presumably a quarterback.
I have to imagine.
They gave up a lot of draft capital with Jimmy Garoppolo still on the roster.
Yeah.
With a roughly $25 million paycheck that he's going to be making this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting move. We kind of have talked about, is there going to be a reunion with Jimmy G and the Patriots, and are the Niners going to move off of Jimmy G? As of right now, in the last couple of weeks with all this crazy free agency moves, he's been staying put, and it's been kind of strange. And then this bomb has just dropped on us out of nowhere. So
yeah,
what do you think?
You really haven't heard anything about them moving him this entire time too. Like, I haven't seen any rumors or anything like that up until this trade happened, and it's because this trade makes it like clear as day. Like they're not going to do that unless they're taking a quarterback, like you said. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Jimmy G. Was it Darnold that the Jets said, like, we won't even take a first rounder for him, we just want him off the team? Or was it Jimmy G?
No, it was Darnold. Yeah, okay. Jimmy G, they have not even said here's a price tag.
Yeah, okay.
No, they haven't even said that. Okay. Darnold, they're openly shopping.
Right. So that's what I'm thinking, is they're probably going to have to get something like very minuscule in return for him at this point, because he's injury prone. Even when he's playing, people are kind of questioning it, and he's getting paid like top 5 quarterback money.
I saw some thing on social. I don't know if it was like a report or something, but someone was like, does Jimmy G to the Panthers make sense? And I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
He's an upgrade from Bridgewater if he can stay healthy, but that's the question. Can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
And he's more expensive than Teddy B, less consistent. I don't know. It's a spot, but I can't. Besides New England and there, I really don't know of too many spots where they would give up anything to get him. Yeah. I don't know how much money they'll lose if they just straight up cut him, so I don't think they're going to do that.
No, I think they would lose a ton in dead cap.
So they might be rolling in next year with a rookie and him on the roster, and you just have competition in camp. Best man wins. The rookie will probably play at some point, know his injury history. Who do you think the QB is that they want?
It's tough to say. So from my understanding, there's 3 quarterbacks going to be left at that point.
Right, because Lawrence
and Zach Wilson. Everybody's saying that Zach Wilson's going to be a Jet, and obviously Trevor Lawrence is going first overall. So they have Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones from Alabama. I think that they'll draft Justin Fields, in my personal opinion.
Really?
I think really, like, the only thing that's so questionable about it is Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL really just don't pan out.
Say the same thing for Alabama QBs too.
Yeah, well, I mean, Alabama really hasn't had any like stud QBs in their offense ever.
I think AJ McCarron was the last one who
was NFL player. And really, I mean, like, he wasn't even that good at Alabama. Mac Jones is actually probably one of their best quarterbacks in the last couple of years.
Well, all the analysts and stuff are saying that Mac Jones is seemingly the most pro-ready quarterback. Which kind of makes sense if you're the Niners, and they truly are a quarterback away from being a legit Super Bowl contender. So from that perspective, I don't think they're going to to draft someone who's going to need some time to develop. Like, no, their window's right now. So if you're looking at it from that lens, I guess Mac Jones makes the most sense. But I think it's going to be Justin Fields if I was to guess. He seems like the most
explosive, playmaking,
athletic
quarterback. That seems to be like the downfall for Mac Jones right now. He's like, a lot of people are like, has this kid ever seen a weight room? yeah. So, but I do agree with you, and I'm actually changing my answer now. I actually do think it's Mac Jones. I think they will take him.
That's the hot rumor out there right now that it's going to.
And wouldn't that be something?
What would really be something is that the Jets didn't take a QB at 2, and then Zach Wilson.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way.
It would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
After his pro day, especially, his draft stock is soaring right now. He is he is definitive number 2. Like, I don't think there's any question.
Yeah. So, the other fun aspect that we can play is if San Francisco does take Mac Jones, he jumps Justin Fields and Trey Lance, who everybody's pegging to be top 5. And then, you have Atlanta, who's probably going to take one of those 2. And then you have Cincinnati, who I think is a lock for Penei Sewell. I'm going to say his name different every time I announce it. I know
think it's just Sewell.
Penei Sewell, because they need somebody to protect Burrow. And then you get to Miami, who I think Miami's going to take Jamar Chase. You get to us. I think we're going to draft Micah Parsons or Kyle Pitts, one of the 2. And then who's at 8?
Us being the Detroit Lions.
Yes, of course. Then you have Carolina, who I think that's where the other quarterback will go.
Okay.
And then Denver, who takes Kyle Pitts. Dallas, who takes the cornerback out of Alabama. I think that's how the top 10 is going to go.
It's really interesting. I really hate to see the Lions take Kyle Pitts, but,
It would be interesting, wouldn't it?
The last wrinkle of this trade that we should talk about is the Eagles, because Miami traded number 12 to them for number 6.
Yeah.
And
they get a first rounder in the
future. The Eagles picked up some assets along the way. So I think this is a pretty clear sign that they're kind of rolling with Jalen Hurts, and they're not even going to flirt with taking any of those guys unless magically one of them's there at 12. Then maybe we'll see. But it seems like they want to roll with Jalen Hurts. They signed Joe Flacco in the last week, who's obviously
good veteran.
He's a veteran, and he's going to be a backup most likely. I think he's wanting to compete or whatever, but he's not a real threat to Jalen Hurts at this point. So the Eagles kind of are staying put and gathering assets. And of all the crazy and confusing moves that they've made recently, this one seems the least crazy and confusing to me. It seems the most logical and smart move they made.
Yeah, I guess. My thing with the trade is that, they are down in the dumps with a lot of players currently. But I think more so the wide receiver position, which if you're sitting at 6, you're getting the best wide receiver in the draft.
Well, based on your projections here that you just ran through, I mean, they can still get a pretty darn good one at 12, most likely.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's why I think they did it, is because they can probably get Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith at 12.
Devontae Smith would be a great get for their offense.
Yeah, well, people are a little down on him too because he's so small. But I mean, there's a ton of small wide receivers in the NFL.
Djax 2.0.
Yeah. So I don't hate it. I know I was kind of reading through some Twitter comments. And I know Eagles fans really hate it.
They hate everything.
But yeah,
sorry,
that's
true.
true.
But you guys are impossible to believe.
But yeah, I think that's what they're going to end up doing is that they were like, you know what, we can deal with one of these other guys. They might even like one of the other guys even more, and that's why they decided to do it. So it will be interesting to see what they end up picking there at 12.
So Lucas has got Mac Jones at 3.
Yeah,
that's his choice. I'm saying it's Justin Fields at 3, and we'll see where the draft takes them from there.
And I think Atlanta takes Trey Lance, quarterback out of North Dakota State. I think Fields drops down to Carolina.
That's bold.
Wouldn't that be something though? Explosive QB back in Carolina.
Well, I was going to say in Atlanta, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense for them right now. I mean, they have Matt Ryan under contract, like they're shackled to him right now, like they can't do
Yeah.
anything about it.
I wonder why everybody thinks that they're going to take a quarterback then.
Well, it's because that Matt Ryan is 35 years old or 36 years old, and they're looking like they're headed for a blow up here. So if there's the right guy there, then maybe. But they would benefit a lot more from a Kyle Pitts or a Penei Sewell if he's there. Like they're going to benefit a lot more from an elite offensive weapon for their offense. Besides Julio, who's also getting up there.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's an interesting aspect. But I mean, like, hey, you let him sit behind Matt Ryan for a couple of years. I mean, maybe a year.
But yeah, in today's NFL, a year if we're lucky.
Yeah. So, I mean, that would be very interesting.